Alright everyone, welcome to the channel. Pledge here with another video in my under 10-minute review series where I like to give you a very quick, simple, basic, layman term type review of games that I've recently played. And I try to keep this under 10 minutes. Just as a comment on my last review video said, this is a review for the rest of us. And I take pride in that, man. I try to be as straightforward, honest, and authentic as I can be, because I promise you, I'm not going to waste your time by trying to use these big words and lofty descriptions, because look, that's just not me, man. I try to give you my simple thoughts about a game, things like what I liked and what I didn't like. Pretty simple, huh? So today, I'll give you my thoughts on Indiana Jones and the Great Circle in under 10 minutes. Here we go. So Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a video game that, man, it brings the legendary archaeologist and adventurer and treasure hunter to life in a fresh and exciting way. It says on the Steam page that you live the adventure as Indy in a thrilling story full of exploration, immersive action, and intriguing puzzles. And boy, do you ever do that. You travel the world in a race against enemy forces to discover the secrets to one of the greatest mysteries of all time. It has a very good mix of exploration and puzzle solving and combat in this new chapter of the franchise. Just so you all know, this is my first Indiana Jones game, so I can't compare it to any of the others in the franchise, but boy, this one surprised me. I really like what they did with this game. As always, let's start with performance, because like I say, what good does a game do for us if it doesn't run well? No one likes a game with performance issues, especially us PC gamers with all the options we have to help better optimize the game. I know I don't want to spend more time tweaking the settings than actually playing the game. First things first, I did have one crash. While playing, my PC crashed to black screen, and it locked me out of everything. I had to manually restart. I thought maybe it was because it happened during a long play session of 2 hours or more, and maybe because my PC had overheated. So I monitored temps for a while, and look, it was fine, man. Never once overheated. Maybe it was a software issue within that part of the game. I don't know, but whatever it was, it never happened again. So outside of that, my performance was okay. I mean, it's not the best performing game, but listen guys, it's definitely not the worst. I have a mid-tier build with a 4070 Super, and it didn't have any other issues. For me, 80 to 90 frames per second at all times. With ultra settings, I was in the mid-80s to low 90s, but I mainly played on high graphic preset, and it allowed me to reach those upper 90s, mid 90s frames per second during my whole playthrough, which was perfect in a game like this if you ask me. I think there was possibly some frame drops from time to time. I would visually notice it sometimes, but very, very minor. Nothing game-breaking or earth-shattering, that's for sure. So my thoughts on performance would be great, but I have to consider that crash. I know it was just one, but it's still stuck in the back of my head. So overall, my thoughts on performance was, it was good enough. Next, let's cover the graphics and the sound. This game looks absolutely stunning. Visually, Indiana Jones and the Great Circles offers a cinematic movie-type experience. I mean, the whole opening scene of the game is pulled right out of the Raiders of the Lost Ark movie. So it had me hooked right off the bat, because growing up I really enjoyed these movies. The environments are fantastic, very detailed and full of character. Whether it's a jungle temple, a crumbling castle, or bustling market square, each setting feels vibrant and alive. The lighting effect, or ray tracing, which is required for this game, gives it that special pop, extra pop, you know what I mean? The character models, especially Indy himself, are well designed. Sometimes though, they tend to walk weird or even look funny. I would just kind of laugh it off. Things like that tend to not really bother me personally in games, but just so you know, it was definitely noticeable, and it might bother some other gamers. The animations for Indy's signature actions, like the whipping and the swinging, they're fluid, man. They look good while you're performing these actions. Honestly, it's hard to notice graphics though when you're in hand-to-hand up-close combat like that. For me, I'm just really focused on performing those maneuvers. Anyways, the game's sound design is on point. Man, look, it's intense during the action sequences. Look, and it's accompanied by a music that feels like it came straight out of a film. Like, not much more to say about that. The sound and music was almost perfect, to be honest with you. So the voice acting is solid. I mean, really, really, really good in my opinion. Troy Baker, the voice actor playing Indiana Jones, does an outstanding job at channeling his persona. I understand that no one can replace Harrison Ford, let's be real. But Troy Baker got as close as anyone ever could, in my opinion. I think I actually say a few times in my playthrough, man, he sounds just like Harrison Ford. And dude, even the villains, even the bad guys, their voice actors were outstanding, bro. I really believe they captured what a villain should truly sound like. And they have supporting characters that just add personality to the narrative. Man, look, an extremely well done job with all the voice actors across the board. Very, very nicely done. So, my overall thoughts on graphics and sound. It was phenomenal, man. Up next, let's talk about the story and the setting, while trying not to give any spoilers, so this may be brief. The game centers around Indiana Jones's quest to track down a mysterious artifact known as the Great Circle. It is an ancient, powerful relic tied to a secret society, and its possession could shift the balance of power across the entire world. The game is set across several different and diverse locations, anywhere from these dense jungles to these ancient temples and these bustling cities, but every single location you come across is visually stunning and is rich in atmosphere. The story itself weaves together a series of global mysteries and incorporates real-world historical elements mixed with this typical fantasy-type atmosphere that defines the Indiana Jones saga. And look, I know it's hard to top some of the movie plots, but this story was still engaging, and it provides an awesome adventure for most gamers. As a player, you'll come across a mix of these historical figures, definitely some shady villains, and some ancient puzzles, and it keeps it true to the classic Indiana Jones fashion. So look, I better leave it right here before I get into spoiler territory. So, my overall thoughts on story and setting. It was great, and I really, really enjoyed the story. Up next, let's talk about gameplay, baby. The gameplay is a mix of exploration, puzzle solving, and action. You must use Indiana's whip, his guns, and even his fist to overcome enemies and environmental challenges. But for me, man, look, I rarely used the guns. They were just too loud, plus they turned the enemy's attention to you too much, and the hand-to-hand combat was just too much fun to not use. The whip can be a key tool to help you with both combat and puzzle solving. You can also use it to help when traversing areas like swinging through gaps and pulling levers and even disarming traps. I also had to use it a few times to scare away these pesky dogs. Now yes, the hand-to-hand combat can feel a bit repetitive at times, but I still enjoyed it. The enemy AI, however, is very, very funny. I had several laughs when it comes to the AI in this game. I was playing mostly on story mode, but man, these guys were clueless. And I'm pretty sure I could have turned up the difficulty and they would have been more keen to me. But hey, I just wanted to enjoy an easy game, and that's exactly what it was for me. Another thing I enjoyed was the puzzles, and that says a lot because I don't like puzzles in game, I'm going to be honest with you, but these were different. I had to look up some help, yeah, because some of them were too challenging for me, and I'm not very patient when it comes to puzzles. But overall, I like the puzzles, man. They do a good job of keeping the player engaged without feeling too terribly difficult, and there's always YouTube if they're too challenging. My thoughts on gameplay, man, was look, it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. So here we are with my final thoughts on Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I personally really enjoyed my time in this game. I was surprised from the very start. I was not expecting to do a full playthrough, but I ended up loving the game once I got into it. Sure, combat can be a little repetitive, and I did have the one crash, but look, man, I'm not one to look at the few negatives when the several positives outshine them. The game to me was a very fun experience. I liked the story, the gameplay, and honestly, I loved the easy difficulty. Of course, you can adjust the difficulty, but for me, man, look, I wanted a chill, story-driven adventure, and it delivered just that. The exploring ancient tombs and unraveling mysteries and experiencing the adventurous action had me sucked in right from the start. So I highly recommend Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, especially if you like the movies. Plus, man, look, it's on Game Pass, so why not try it out, right? Thank you all for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe for more content. Let me know in the comments if you have played this game or if you're thinking about it. Also, please let me know if you like this review, if it helped you, and how I can improve. We are in this together. Again, thank you guys, and be blessed.